I can't believe you installed a lift for this. How cool. Up, up, keep going. More, more, more. No, oh, too far. Down. Down. Oh, that's better. You got to pay extra for that kind of action. So, where are we this week? Oh yeah, beautiful mountains. Oh, Lederhosen. Nice. And a track that kind of looks like a bike park, but it's actually kind of gnarly. Oh, shit, bugger. God, it's got to be Leogang. Leogang. So let's chat about who's on form to give you some context before we dive into round 3. We actually made a sweet recap chatting about the winners from last round in Poland. I analysed some big moments and figured out some interesting facts. Go check that out if you want to go in depth. So clearly there are some riders showing they are fired up early in the year. Heather Wilson has gone 2 for 2 in the junior women's and has really rattled some cages on the World Cup scene. The young Scotswoman is obviously the favourite going into Leogang, but I've heard she did have a crash last weekend at the British national race and then elected not to do a race run. This could be blood in the water for the young lady sharks out there, so we'll see if anyone fancies taking a bite. My bet would be on Aris van Leuven going for the first chomp. She was clearly distraught on her race run at round 1 after getting a puncture, and she very nearly took the win in Poland in round 2. And she had some badly steamed up goggles in her race run. She won qualifying in Leogang last year, so has pedigree on that track. And I'd recommend everyone just stand back when they see her coming, because I think she'll be on a furious mission. Asa Vermette definitely confirmed all the other junior men's off-season fears by proving his speed in America does indeed transfer to Europe. We're only on the 3rd race and it already feels like we'll be watching the race for 2nd place all season. We'll see how consistent the kid is, but so far it's looking good with 2 World Cup wins in a row and a win at the US National last weekend in the Pro category. There is nothing like dangling a carrot to really spur a junior on, and Asa is a particularly dangly carrot that's frustratingly out of reach. I see some of the other racers building some confidence and mounting a challenge as the year goes on. Look out for French rider Milan Falquet on Goodman Racing, Canadian Dane Dewitt on Pivot Factory Racing, Frenchman Teal Alran on Commensal Muckhoff, Scottish shredder Daniel Parfit on the privateer B&C team, and Italian Chris Hauser on the Union team to mount a challenge if they can get all their crap in a pile. The elite women saw a surprise shake-up last week with round 1 winner and race favourite Vali Hull taking a heavy lie down in the top section of the Polish track on her race run. She also crashed up at the top section on her qualifying run, which meant she was 1 for 3 in terms of successful timed runs that weekend. 2 other ladies filled the void left on those race runs, with Camille Balanche continuing her return to form by placing 1st in qualifying and followed by 2nd in the final. Marion Cabarrou capitalised during the finals run by taking her first win of the year on the brand new track. We are heading to Leogang though, which is Vali's local race course in her home country. She absolutely wiped the floor with everyone last year when she won by 4 seconds, so it will be interesting to see if that bolsters her confidence going into this weekend. One racer we might not see on track is Santa Cruz Syndicate's Nina Hoffman. She reported on social media that she dislocated her elbow the day after the race in Poland, and it's still not feeling up to strength for bashing down Austrian hillsides. If she can get things feeling good and find a good combo of strapping and medication, she will probably give it a go, as the points in the women's field are tight and she's only 54 points behind the leader, Vali. She didn't mention how she dislocated her elbow, which means the person doesn't want the mechanisms of injury to be public. I'm here for the theories though, in the comments. I heard something about an after party. You didn't hear from me. The excitement in the elite category about the young Irishman Ronan Dunne is at an all-time high right now, with him winning the World Cup in Poland and also winning Hardline in Wales this past weekend. The lad's on a confidence high and it'll be super interesting to see how he manages the hype. For riders new to this position, it's easy to be pushed too far by the imagined expectations of all the eyes watching you and your own personal raised goals. One thing's for sure, aiming to leave the race either on top of the box or in a helicopter is not an approach that traditionally produces consistency. Yet consistent he has been, which leads me to believe there's some method to the madness. Shame he's so expensive in the Pinkbike Fantasy League though. Like, dude, just fall over, I want to buy you. If we're going to talk about riders that have gone well in Leogang in the past, we can't look past the big Austrian moustache of Andreas Kolb. He won the race just in front of Loic Bruni last year, and he's had a couple of solid top 10s this year, and all it takes is just a bit of confidence to push him onto that top step. It'll be tough though, because Loic has been so consistent, and he would have been 2 for 2 if it wasn't for the breakout performance of Ronan last round. Loic is riding as good as ever, and I can't see him not being at the sharp end all season. A rider who was almost at the sharp end at the last round was Dakota Norton. The last rider down the hill after qualifying first, he binned it, taking a creative line which meant he'll have to wait a little longer to get that first win. Interesting stat from the Leogang archives though was last year, Dakota was the fastest man through the speed trap in qualifying, semi-finals and finals. If he can take this current form, turn his Austrian top speed into a top average speed, then by my maths, he's 2 to 4, carry the millisecond, it means he should probably win. We've also got to see if lucky Stevens McNabb can carry his form into the next round. The young Kiwi was the fastest man down that Polish track until the bike rather rudely just exited from underneath him. He has podiumed in Leogang in the past as a junior, so he can definitely go well on that terrain. A quick look ahead at the weather shows that we've got some classic alpine conditions on our hands with sun and thunderstorms. Not much we can do about that, but let's hope we don't get anything as violent and stormy as we did last year. Let's collectively cross our fingers and pray to the mountain gods for some consistent racing. If you're playing the Pinkbike Fantasy League, I'm going to try and drop a recommendation each round. Downhill is far too variable to rely on tips, and the expensive riders eat up so much of the budget that I want to throw a low value gamble into the mix for you to consider. This rider has always consistently been one of the fastest riders in practice, and he always impresses every time we see him. Interestingly, when we did the Corners for Doe video in Poland, he was originally 4 out of the 5 best clips we got. But when we asked him if he was a privateer, he said, "Oh, I'm a paid pro rider." Juan Velez is a pinner. And after his 3rd place, a hardline last weekend, I feel he's a good bet for $46,400. And just don't at me if he gets a puncture in qualifying. That should be you fully up to speed going into Leogang. This race rolls immediately into the next round in Val di Sole, so I should be bringing you up to speed from an actual on-site location instead of the Pinkbike Universal Digital Studios of Art and Magic. Stay tuned for the Privateer preview, inside the tape, the slightly tweaked and renamed Cleaned for Cash, and the always late story of the race. See you then. Are you done? Are we out? We're out. Amazing. Right. Who's got my check? I need paid.